Let's get out of that. Right, can you lot hear me? Yeah, don't be showing no love arts. You'll be lucky. Every dice roll's at disadvantage for you. Ah! And now because of you, Rob, I've got my bastard kitchen in the back of my.
That's not my fault.
It is. It is.
At least it's clean, mate.
Jesus Christ. I hate it so much.
Look at this. This is what happens when you take a week off from stream.
He loves me. He doesn't admit it, but he does.
You're damn right. They ain't admitting nothing.
Oh,
What do you want? What do you want?
I'm surprised Jack Black hasn't walked in and started singing tribute to that fucking beard.
Beard's wonderful. What's up, Ben?
No, Bex has walked in and gone, you know you're not streaming.
Becky's got a kitchen
Jack
now.
Black?
Who needs Jack Black, yeah?
At least I had the common audacity to, trim.
Right. It's the first time you've been trimming your life. Anyway, welcome to Heavyweight Gaming, eventually. It's only 21 minutes past. Thanks for that, Rob. You know what I mean? All Rob's fault. We don't have the lovely Ian tonight. He's dealing with some stuff, so he's not here. Hopefully we'll have him next week. We are playing Carbon 2185, a cyberpunk RPG based around the rules of 5th edition. Most of you will have used them in your Dungeons and Dragons games. The game was created by Dragon Turtle Games, our lovely sponsors for the show. They have so much that they're going to pump out over the coming months regarding more Carbon stuff. I cannot wait for that content to start hitting people's eyeline, whatever terminology that is.
So you can murder us all with it.
So yeah, pretty much.
My post box.
All right, Nev. Your post box.
I want it on pre-order.
So,
I'm just happy I've got this one.
if
So
you,
I don't need. I'm not going to need it much longer.
not for long.
AD's going to murder Rob. I'm going to murder you. Niall's going to go off and do something else.
If you go to their web store and buy things and use the code WAITE, W-A-I-T-E, with a capital W, you will get 10% off your purchase. However, it will not work on pre-orders, as a few of my friends have found out. Yes, he's not the only one, and I was there, like, yay! So, but it's great. It's a really cool game. We're really enjoying it. I never thought I'd do anything but fantasy. Having access to the Carbon book and playing it and running it and stuff, I'm really, really enjoying it. So, if you're into cyberpunk and you like the 5e system, you can't go wrong. So, yeah. You will also see some stuff popping up throughout our lovely stream that says 200 bits and you can give the party a re-roll. This is something we brought in not so long ago. It was actually recommended to us by a couple of the viewers, so we went with it. But essentially for 200 bits you can give the party a team re-roll that they get to use this session and this session only. If they don't use it, it is lost. They can have a maximum of 5 at any one time. So yeah. That's that.
Can you
really.
please buy us one before they get me a Crit 1 t-shirt?
Already ordered it, buddy.
I will say, however, Rob.
I've got the In Memory of Sparks shirt coming soon.
Rob is exempt from rerolls tonight, so as many as you buy, he will not be allowed to use them. Right, so
need rerolls, it's fine.
So we also have a couple more sponsors of the channel itself, which is Sawdust and Swear Words and Ruffworx Creative. They essentially sponsor anything and everything we do. Nath has actually received a dice cup holder roller, as you can see, that wonderful. Would you like to describe what they're seeing, Nath? With a gobful.
It's a little hinged dice cup holder. Easily fits in my dice for my Star Wars game. I will be probably using it. It's really cool, very, very solidly made, and another little clip on it with the Rebel Alliance symbol on it. There's always hope.
Wow, there's a bit of cheese on the shelf behind you. So you've got that wonderful from Sawdust and Swear Words. I do have things I could show you from Ruffworx, but it means moving around.
Done the science, it makes you roll better.
Our good friend Kelly Jane Games, if Nath again can show up, she's currently pumping out a few dice trays. They're really cool. They're exactly what you want for your tables. Obviously that's a larger one. She's just put out a few smaller ones that are in a hexagonal shape. Have a look at them. They're very, very good for what you're paying for them, and yeah, get them if you want them. Kelly Jane Games. Not an official sponsor, just a friend of ours, and we're just giving her a shout out. So, social media, go onto any social media platform, type in Heavyweight Gaming, you should be able to find us. If you find somebody else called Heavyweight Gaming, let them know I'm bigger than them. Job done. What else we got? We've got a YouTube channel. I'm at 89 subscribers. I just need 100 so I can change that fucking URL. Right, please, just nudge a pal. Make your hamster an account. Just get me to 100 so I can change it from numbers and letters to Heavyweight Gaming on the end of the YouTube URL. That's it. I'm done. Retired. Then you don't have to watch this crap again. It's fucking wonderful. All right. Today, this is going to be vague but obvious. We don't have details to give, but we are going to run a charity 48-hour weekend stream. This is not me dungeon mastering for 48 hours straight, because fuck no. This will be me.
Price for that.
You'd love it. You'd sign up straight away, you little shit. We will be putting together. You did turn on it. You can get the latest slots. Yeah. You we'll be putting together a bunch of gaming, console, PC, tabletop, card, anything we can get together. There'll be a lot of it going on from start to end, and we will have more than the one charity that we are aiming towards. But I will wait until all the boxes are ticked before I announce which charities and what we are putting in there. But it'll be 48 hours over that. The weekend we are aiming for is the bank holiday at the end of August. Now, I do know to some of our UK friends that are into LARP, that is a big weekend for them, and they're still waiting on a decision from the powers that be. But I personally and those involved will be available to do this stream over that weekend. So yeah, if you keep an eye out for all that sort of good stuff. And another thing, actually, while I've got your attention, now that Rob's made it go on for 27 minutes, we've done really well over the last few months, and there's never really a moment that I've got to stop and be able to say thank you very much for watching, other than the normal stuff at the end where I just say thank you. But since we started building this channel back in March, it's come on leaps and bounds. There are people that I didn't expect to watch. There are people that are talking to me through Twitch and Twitter and stuff like this of other things. There's people dragging me into stuff. It's really cool to see the channel build and a little community around it build. So thank you very much for that, and it is massively, massively appreciated from all of us that have a bit of a heavyweight gaming t-shirt. So yeah, thank you very much, and please continue to shout about us and tell everyone that we are, well, we have been referred to as the powerhouses of RPGs, professional tabletoppers. I mean, I'm saying yes to them all, like, until someone sues me. The next best thing, I did try that I had better hair than Matthew Mercer, but a few of the fans went and kicked off about that. If you know who Matthew Mercer is, then I love him, but I just thought it was funny. Turns out the fans not so much. Anyway, recap of last week. Not last week, the week before.
We're basically Critical Role but British.
And not famous.
Not famous. Can't do.
And not voice actors.
Well, 1,000 accents.
I'll admit it when we start getting convention bookings. You know?
As long as I don't have to turn up.
When the lockdown finishes, we'll be running a heavy con. So technically a con booking. There you go.
We'll just sit outside the NEC and play in the car park.
Yeah. There's a lot of reactors there.
Just about that thing at the gathering, if the gathering definitely isn't running, I feel kind of like compelled to maybe open a little like pub corner for that weekend. I could just call it the Duke of York, because you know it's a
oh yes.
No other reason.
You know, yeah. Right, so thank you for tuning in. We're now going to play Carver 2185. A couple of weeks ago, this lot, who James playing Alex the Troublemaker, Rob playing Larry the Marine, Niall playing Chase the Sugo, aka Ballistic Fury, and Nath playing Jean Jean John the Combat Medic. He's got a proper good background and a great name, but he'll never get it out on stream. And Ian, unfortunately, who's not with us, is Jake the Street Samurai. A couple of weeks ago, they decided to send an invite to Matthew Mercer for HeavyCon. I'll send the invite. I'll be shocked if he ever sees it.
Did we?
No, Sword.
I'm not sure how we decided that.
Sawdust is saying that. So, they were on a mission to Mars, as if that wasn't dramatic enough, for the Crown Estate, working for the Elizabeths. They borrowed a space jet.
You were so lucky you were sat this far away from me.
me.
They borrowed a space jet and they
Turns
put
out
it.
you can't punch somebody through the internet. He tried. Oh god, he tried.
They put said space jet nose first into the ground. Right?
Whoa! There was some belly involved.
Yeah, that's only because I was there. The plane crashed. It didn't explode yet. We'll get to that bit. It didn't explode. They then spent the last session all sat in the crash, in the wreckage. They set up a really stealthy defensive barricade. Well played, Chase. They then went around, they stripped it for useful stuff. They were then getting surrounded by these very top-heavy, skinny-legged creatures, folk, people that were out and about on the perimeter, that were all ghillie-suited up and stuff like this. The forest they crashed it in is a radiated forest. They were able to protect themselves with what was left of the whatever was going on in the wreckage. Not a lot happened for 8 hours. 8 hours they spent in this wreckage. They had many short rests, a long rest. Like they were just resting the shit out of that session. Then
it was totally worth it though, because we got some mint power cells out there.
Then they decided to remove the power cells. Attempt to remove the power cells.
The ridiculously expensive and valuable power cells
from the wreckage
to add.
To try and
without a real screwdriver.
To try and make a couple of quid, because they were out in these are definitely badlands of some variation. So Jean, being the expert at everything he does, except piloting and removing of power cells, decided to put a Stanley knife into the power cells. So it went boom, very much inspired by Lethal Weapon 2, I'm just saying. And they ran to the forest. They didn't outrun the blast per se, but they did outrun instant death blast. They received a bit of a battering, radiatively, physically, and etc. Larry, poor lad's only been with him 10 minutes, was sparked out as he hit a few trees. Sparked out, no pun intended. And the rest of them managed to kind of get knocked around, stay on the feet, a tiny bit of damage here and there, but essentially they didn't die. Several of these heavy-set folk around them were on the floor, motionless, and a few others were regaining their footing, and we left it with them. Lots of them everywhere, including themselves. A bit of a scattering of this small mushroom cloud that went off in this radiated forest. So, 3, 2, 1, in you go.
I'm on the floor unconscious, if I remember rightly.
You are.
I said I was going to go and pick Larry's body up and just carry him if he's unconscious.
So after that initial, where it goes quiet and the dust is falling, you start seeing a few of the heavier set figures picking themselves up, looking around, walking on their huge, what appears to be top heavy limbs. You pick up Larry. He's heavy, and it's a good job. You're a big lad. He's a solid unit to be picking up, being a marine prize fighter and augmented. He's carrying some poundage. But you pick him up. You four are stood up. Alex is not stealthed. Jake is kind of looking around, still looking slightly disappointed that his headset's not working, but his swords are in his hand. You don't remember when he pulled them, but his swords are in his hands, just loosely. He's looking around a little bit on guard. He will be very quiet for the next 4 hours.
I sort of get back up to my feet. Seeing Chase pick Larry up, I sort of walk over to them. Chase, just put him down. Let me get it. Let's see if I can get him back up and running. I know he was hurting from the radiation as well. So let's try and sort him out before we move on.
All right. pop him down up floor then.
Cool, you're popping down up floor. Do your thing.
Yeah, I'll do a basic healing and a quick heal on him.
Okay.
So 1d8 plus 6.
Whilst he's doing that, I'll just act as a sentry effectively. Keep a lookout.
You don't really have to, like, there's...
13.
In regards to looking, a lot of these, you see about 10 to 12 of these heavy set humanoid shapes with their hooded cloaks, ghillie-esque, pulled over. You can't see many facial features. They're like kind of helping, doing similar to what you lot are doing. They're ignoring you lot for now, and they're looking for others of them, picking them up and stuff. You give me a perception check, Jess.
That is a... Where's my character sheet? That is a 13.
You see them doing, a couple of them, not all of them, doing similar things to what Jean's doing. Like they're clearly healing via the nanites and such, rather than, it's not, they look a bit more primitive. You'd expect less tech, but they're using nanites as well.
Alright. Let Jean know that what I'm seeing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it pops.
Okay.
Uh, 413X will move over to them and then take a bead on the closest of the indigenous species in the area.
You gonna have a closer look?
Just from where I am.
Give me a perception check.
$17.
Cool. They, from what you can see, their upper limbs and the facial features behind, like just as the hood's coming over, you can just see parts of the jaw. The limbs and jaw do look ape-like in shape, but they are mechanical.
Cool. They're not fully biological.
As in the sense we, as us?
No.
Oh, different.
More mechanoid.
Okay.
Then
Is the unit
Jess,
known as Larry ready to get up and move?
He should be. Larry.
Yep. What the hell? Ugh.
As you say,
Yeah.
what the hell? A few of them to sort of thump their way through, and you see 6 of them now in a semicircle around you. Where you saw before, Alex, that they had crossbows on their hips when you first went on your little stealth, they're now holding them, and they look larger. They're 2 hands to hold, and they are a combination of some sort of bolt crossbow, but there is there's more bits to it than you've expect of a
Is it
historical
like a
weapon.
Chewbacca bolt caster, like a bolt thrower?
It is not far off a Chewbacca.
That's what I was
bowcaster.
thinking, but I was
Yeah,
thinking
like
he
a
was trying
bowcaster.
not to say that. For some kind of
You're
trade.
surrounded by Ewoks with Chewie's boltcaster. There you go. How's that?
That sounds like a DM.
Ewoks on steads. It wasn't a DM's problem till the fucking player got involved.
As
It was Rob again.
It was that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's
Right,
Rob? I'm Larry.
right. Nerf, let's get this. You're not getting out the black book. I don't care how many people you snitch on. All right. So you are 6 of them semicircle around you. There are more about in the woods, not far, a bit further away, helping. That they're either dead or in need of serious medicinal aid.
now that I'm not carrying Larry, I will hold the LMG effectively but I won't be pointing at them. It'll be the barrels towards the floor, just in case anything does kick off if they're surrounding us.
Okay.
I will not look intimidating.
413X is going to inject itself with nanites to heal it.
Well, I'll absolutely stand up and try and look as intimidating as I can.
Give
For
me
someone who blasted across half a forest.
I'll step forward, arms outstretched, but low, not like surrendery. As you can see, we have crashed among you. We just want to head off. I tried to prevent the explosion, but it was too late. I'm sorry we weren't able to warn you, and I hope the damage was minimal to your people.
Give me your roll.
Against which of my charisma skills?
Deception, you lying bastard.
It's up to you. Are you do you want to lie or do you want to persuade?
I don't think there's anything I said that was a lie there.
We tried to stop the explosion.
He caused the explosion.
Has anyone spent that 200 credits?
Nope.
I'm just gonna hide under the table because I might not be able to see my dice from there.
God, I'll assume that's not nat 20.
I could not fucking make this shit up.
So, you're really bad at piloting, you're really bad at mechanics, and you're really bad at talking to people.
No. What I'm just really bad at is rolling fucking dice.
That's not the character, that's the player. Your character is a really bad pilot, a really bad mechanic, and really bad at diplomacy.
Don't blame the
Right.
dice.
Let's rein it in and do this. So
technically, I've got a 7.
technically, you got on that one. So you step forward, arms out. You give your little spiel. They all look at each other. They hold their crossbows a little bit tighter, and then from the back they sidestep. The middle two sidestep to let somebody else through. This large ape. Ape is the best movement you can see description of how they're moving and their physicality as it comes towards you. It comes forward on its fists. It stops about 20 feet from you, Jean. You can see more now in this as this movement's happened that more of them are sort of dusting themselves off and making their way towards this little gathering of you lot. And then as it puts its two fists down in front, they sort of go rigid, and you start hearing and the familiar sound of a chamber unlocking multiple times. As in a room chamber, not a gun chamber. And the humanoid stands up straight and leaves the massive limbs down. And then they take off a helm that is that as it comes away from the hood, you can see has been made to look like a large ape. And it puts the large ape head on top of these two massive limbs, and now you can see as they step away from it that it is more a means of transport than it is part of their physiology. They then pull their hood fully down and away, and you can see now that they are just a human looking chap. His hair is in bits, so where he's bald with little strips of hair growing out in random places on top of his head. One of his
as in signs of radiation poisoning.
Definitely. His left eye, hang on, it looks weird on the camera. His left eye has multiple scarring across the face as if clawed many times, or someone's had an itch that they just can't scratch. And that left eye is useless. The right eye is a very piercing green colour. They are slender to look at. They're about 5'8". The jacket, hooded ghillie jacket robe that they're wearing is obviously too big for them, but used in conjunction with this what is basically a pair of ape arms, or at least the front end of an ape, that they use to mosey on through the forest. Now that you've seen that, the familiar sight that Alex saw before makes sense, and he pieces it together, and then he looks around and he can see now, Alex can now see the mechanical movements opposed to the natural movements, and starts seeing slivers of mechanical creations amongst the hoods and these large limbs. He stands before you, he doesn't have any weapon on you. He looks at Larry for a brief moment, like looks him up and down as if recognising him. You don't recognise him, Larry.
Okay.
His physiology would put him at old.
Would I recognise them as kind of typical of Badland?
Yeah, definitely. They're
Do I recognise the community, not the individual?
No.
Okay.
No. This is unknown. Like, the Badlanders are not. They don't live in the forestry. They live in the desert wastelands outside of San Francisco, not the northern forests. No one's ever been here. Like, it's just as new to you. So you don't, but you do recognise them as Badlanders. He looks towards Jean. You can tell he's old, or at least looks very old. Again, radiation might say that he could be 20, but the radiation's definitely giving it him. He is not a ventriloquist, but he just looks at you, Jean. He starts clicking and whistling and hooting as that he was doing before, when this lot were talking and communicating with one another, and you get quite a lot of whistling, and it happens again throughout a lot of them, throughout those around you, and the 6 that were closest to you that semicircled around you lower their crossbows, and but they're not lowered in you are free to go. They're lowered in they're not going to shoot you immediately.
In the same sense how I'm holding my gun.
Yeah, they are both aware, you are aware and they are aware that if it came to it, you were both, neither of you would catch the other one at a surprise. And he says, as more as these whistles and whoops come out and clicks throughout their communication, he starts clearing his throat. And then he looks across to you, Jean, and we're from the city.
District 5, ultimately. But we were doing a job out of District 3.
He looks. He's confused at the words you are using. It seems he has a very confused look.
City.
Why land here?
Alex will hold his hand up in the form of an airplane and then hold his other hand up and make shooty noises. Pew, 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 and then crashing noises.
Not land, crashed.
He scowls at Alex. Who fly?
Point at Jean.
Look at Sean!
I did.
You break.
Yes.
He looks around at something and you can see large shapes on the floor. You kill.
But can we see any debris of the wreckage in this area?
Oh, yeah,
Is that what the large is?
No, the large lumps are his compadres, his companions, his family, his whatever.
Is there any way I can see how they died or see how they've been injured?
You can guess, considering they are immediately where you are, and you were flung through the air into a tree and
from
ready.
the
Yeah.
explosion.
Yeah. Larry's
No.
all brawn.
Bison killed.
He looks confused. Ooh, bison.
He attacked us.
Remember you're that one kid.
He was the one that attacked us and caused us to crash.
Give me a persuasion check at disadvantage. Motherfucking high DC.
13.
You come.
Where?
Home.
I look around at the others.
There, you notice there's like 15 of them now.
Yeah. You seem to be giving us no choice.
He ponders the words. You right.
Then we will come.
And what does everyone else do?
I'll ready my gauntlets, but I will keep neutral at this stage to see how this pans out effectively. Can I identify any immediate cover in my vicinity?
You are in a forest.
Yeah, so trees,
Yep.
logs.
There is quite a lot of what you could class as cover, but it will give you cover from some of them, but those behind you not so much.
That's fine. Can I potentially hold an action to dive into the nearest hard cover should this go south?
Yeah, you can hold an action if you want to dive.
413X will walk forward with still no hands on his weapons. Stand next to John and go, lead on.
Thank you. I'll whisper to Alex.
413X will ignore John. One shoulder!
Alex, you can have a inspiration dice. You may have a single reroll, but only you can use. That was.
And while giving the cold shoulder, might just flip the bird.
Obviously emotionlessly.
Whichever side Alex goes on, I'll go on the opposite side.
Clearly the person in charge of this particular group just looks at your weapons and says to Jean, "No gun."
Look down at my gloves.
They don't look at you, Larry, other than
Fine.
any weapon or any firearm that you're using.
I've got one on my back, but not equipped, as it were.
Can I ask a GM question?
If you want.
To what extent does a concealed gun holster actually effectively conceal the weapon?
Give me a deception check. (26). Now to roll 18 perception checks. No.
A character specific looking for a concealable holster must make a DC 20 perception check.
Failed.
So he doesn't. So
He
he
doesn't
know,
look.
He doesn't.
He doesn't look
know
at that
that
gun. He doesn't look at that gun.
Um,
The most obvious one he points at is the light machine gun in Chase's hand, and the pistols on Alex.
So once he says that,
You got a pistol
because
on you?
I've got 2 concealable holsters. Can't see.
All right, well let's find out. The first one he nods at. The second one he does not. So he sees
I'll
one
withdraw
but
the
not the other.
pistol and I'll put it in the backpack.
so the LMG, because we made a sling for it, I'll get it and I'll put it as if behind my back, and then put my hands up, say, put thumbs up like happy.
There's a few clicking and boots from those behind him, and then he turns back. Happy.
At which point I will reach into my inside coat pocket slowly, pull the coat out to show my concealed holster, and then slip the gun slip the gun out thumb first, and then pull my rucksack around and drop the gun in the rucksack.
Okay.
Do you have a name?
No.
What do we call you?
Nothing. Follow.
Okay.
Say it,
How,
John.
how many of them is there again?
In your immediate vicinity, 15, but there are
And they're
more.
all
They're more further
similar.
out. They're all armed similarly. Similarly. Larry's going out swinging.
Dive at the nearest one. No.
Superman punch.
I know, yeah.
So he climbs back. He goes back towards his gorilla arm traveling mech sort of harness. You see him put his fists in, and they start, and you can hear them lock in and see him. And he kind of puts the ghillie suit cloak over as he's doing it, puts the helmet back on and the hood back up, and again takes that familiar shape of a large ape.
As he's doing that, I'll heal myself.
Motherfucking hell. Deadpool time.
How much did? Sorry, remind me. How much did you heal me when you picked me up off the floor?
13 points.
Thank you. I realise it hasn't gone on my sheet for some strange reason. Can I use my second wind to heal myself?
I'm back up to full AD. I rolled 21.
Okay, mate.
As I'm walking.
Then yes, you can, Larry.
Thank you. Ooh, D10. This is exciting. I haven't used that in a while. That's how boring my life is.
Silently say to Jean, can you still heal?
Yeah.
10 on a D10.
As I'm
Nice.
kind of saying yes, I'll take a sort of a bit of a visual look up and down now and see how screwed he is.
Give me a medicine check.
I'm still visibly injured.
22. No, 24. Sorry.
Are you under half, Chess?
No. I
Cool.
am just above 50. So just above bloodied.
Cool. Yeah, he's carrying a few bruises, but it doesn't look like he's about to drop dead.
Let's I'll kind of do a visual inspection of James of their F4 and 3X as well.
Well,
He's
Jesus.
practiced that.
In the mirror every day.
Yeah.
Because he's committed to the stream, Larry. Because he's here on time every week. Just saying. So, I do believe Alex looks fine.
Yeah,
Without even a medicine check, you can see there's not even a scratch upon them.
Okay, I'll say to Chase. Let's see what the situation is when we get where we're going.
I was thinking more, save it for yourself in case.
I just sorted myself out for now. So.
Would I have any local knowledge whatsoever of any encampments, any societies that I know live outside the city in these woods, forest, even if I'm not aware, like if I've not visited them before?
Give me a...
A Badlander who's been probably around District like 5, probably heard more than the average.
Give me a religion check.
Religion?
Yep.
Alright, sure. I'm not proficient, does that matter?
It just means you don't get your proficiency to it.
Fine. That's a 6 plus
Wow.
nothing. It's a strong 6.
There is... before you were taken from the Badlands into the city, you know, there were talks of other places that your people may be, the Badlanders, as what everyone's calling them, but where, you've no idea. Any particular stories and information you may have or may not have heard from Badlands to City, none of them are matching this right now.
From the group I grew up with, and the Badland group that I was a part of, how favourable was their relationship with city folk?
More so than others, but still bad.
So generally, did we look down on city folk, or was it?
It wasn't down. It was more far to the left, as in
Okay, so
not
they're different.
Yeah, not literally, not left and right wing politically, as in.
But they're like a different people.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
deal with us, they deal with them.
They have no time for you, so you give
So we
no
don't have time
fucks
for them.
about them. Yeah, it's not a down
Okay.
or an up thing. They're just. Yeah.
Last question. Did we ever have
That's
any violent altercation with city folk?
All the time.
Was there definitely a violent clash between the two?
All the time. You always get city folk thinking they're a bit big and clever coming out.
Did we ever instigate it?
Yeah,
Okay.
but so did they.
I'll as we're walking, I'll kind of under our breath if we're close, just say, don't know what experience you lot have had with the Badlands in the past, but they're not a fan of folk from the city. It's not unheard of for violence to kick off if you're not from these parts. Keep yourselves careful. That's what we do. Don't give them a reason to see us as enemies, yeah?
I kind of look at Larry and just go, "You mean any more reasons?"
Yeah.
This unit suggests that you do not fly or attempt any mechanics roles or probably negotiate anything for the next foreseeable future.
I love that Alex said mechanical rolls.
ROLE.
Obviously.
Look, before I was in the city, I lived out in the Badlands, not here, elsewhere. And yeah, it can get a little nasty when city folk and Badlanders meet. Let's say you don't want to be pissing them off.
I think it's a little late for that, but I appreciate the advice nonetheless.
413X. There, that's right, yeah. God damn it! Any chance you can keep this one away from any social engagements in the future?
This one has attempted to stop the one known as Sean from interfering or interacting with anything. However, so far it has been unsuccessful, as seen by a plane crash, a battery removal, and then the attempt at negotiations with a creature that basically communicates via clicks and whistles.
Look, Sean. I'll be honest with you, fella. Like, since I've met you, it's not been a good first impression. I'm honest. You've crashed a plane before we took off, got a shot out of the sky, detonated a cure, and pissed off the locals. Like, it might be an idea just to stay quiet a little bit on this one before you get us all shot.
To be honest, keep this under my breath. Where we're going, I don't think there'll be much talking. I think it'll be fist used in the foreseeable future.
DM question, do I have what was the name of my Badlander group? Or whereabouts was I from before I was in the city?
Is it not?
Do you want me to dig deep into my history and pull that one out of my memory bank?
I thought I had it on your sheet. Give me a sec.
Oh, you might have actually.
If I
No,
haven't.
you've just put. I grew up in the Badlands, so just generic Badlands.
So your group is called the Maxes.
MAXES, something like that? Or?
Yeah. No, ER. Maxers.
Okay, cool. And how far away from the city were we?
About a day.
Forest or out to one of the other sides?
Oh no, I meant like proper Mad Maxing. You know what I mean?
So desert, forest?
Yeah,
north,
desert.
Cool.
Most of the Badlanders are to the south, I think.
Okay, that's fine. You cool? Alright. I'll follow the herd, as it were.
You finished talking?
I've said what I need to say to John, yeah. John. Don't say it.
Right, the reason you were a Badlander is because your parents were city folk, but got skint, so moved out to the Badlands.
And then I got rounded up by the...
And that's when, and that's when all the rest of your stuff kicked in. But
Cool.
the backstory. So, as you follow these, now that you can tell that they are people piloting some sort of large ape mechanical arms and helms, and you can see them now. They're not using their feet. It turns out that their feet are actually theirs and don't belong to the machinery they're using. And these large limbs are just grabbing tree trunks and branches and the ground in front of them and just haul-arsing them through. They look very different to how apes move because their back legs don't touch the floor. They're essentially raised up and just using these two limbs. But the large hands of the mechanical things are giving them enough pressure that they don't tip balance or anything. They walk you further into the forest. Well, as far as you can tell, it's further in. And it becomes apparent that there is a smell on the air of burning animal flesh. And you can smell it as if you are at a barbecue that is feeding a lot of people. There's a very strong smell of it. You've only walked with them for about 45 minutes, say. You've had your chats along the way and your little whispers. Nobody interrupted you. They come and go as this pack. You have eyes on the one that originally talked to you, and he's not necessarily leading the way, but he's the one in front of a few. You're not guarded like you have been in the past or seen in the military or any of your law enforcement or anything like that backgrounds. This is not a uniformed guarding. It is just a bunch of them around you with weapons aimed at you now and then as they find their way through the forest. It is a bit of a pain in the ass. The roots are massive and a lot of them are reaching out of the ground, searching for probably cleaner nutrients than the ones that have rotted into the soil. The acrid smell and taste on your tongue keeps getting mixed with this smell of barbecuing, essentially. You get to an hour passes, and then there is you start feeling your feet on metal, tung 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 tung, and you look down and it is overgrown, but it's quite clearly metal that you are walking on. The trees become less and less cramped. The canopy itself opens up a bit. And as you notice, you look ahead of you, and if all of you, give me a perception check. You've all worked.
10.
Maybe not you.
15.
23.
15, 23. Laurie?
12.
Cool. So Chase and Alex, Jake doesn't care. Chase and Alex, you notice that as you're walking, good for you, as you're walking on this metallic surface, you, Alex and Chase, look ahead and sort of follow up, and you notice, or you feel that you notice, that there's a shape to the direction you're walking, like a gangway of sorts. The trees and that, the way they're growing and off to the sides and where the growth is, it kind of gives a shape of a gangway, as if you are walking onto something. The closest thing you can remember it being is when you'd walk from a dock or a pier onto a ship, and you'd have that long metal gangway. It is long. It's not as short as the ones that you would do onto a ship, but it does hold that sort of shape amongst the overgrowth.
Just look over at Alex, see if he looks back.
413X will nod as having seen Chase look at him.
And then just carry on.
They're in the know. Again, the metal tung 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 as you're walking along. As you get further onto it, a lot of the Badlanders that are with you, they start like veering off, and then the few behind you, and there is one in front of you, and a couple more, and then the person that was leading. So you have 3 behind you, 3 in front of you, and then 4 in front of you, technically, with the leader. But there is very loud metal noises now, as they are now no longer on any of the growth beneath your feet, and it is ting 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 as they're now walking up it. As you walk about 50 feet up it, and the trees start falling away, you're kind of going up ever so slightly, and as the trees start coming away, there's long vines hanging from tree to tree across the way, almost covering a sort of curtain in front of you. You can still see through it, and the shapes that you start seeing through it now, there is something not cliff or stone, but it has a strange shape to it and is completely overgrown. They start moving the vines and thicker branches out the way. There's becoming less and less trees now, and you are about 100 feet you've walked up this metal gangway, and you now opens up. There are no trees immediately in front of you. They're now to your left and right, and the structure in front of you is that it's a structure, but you can't really tell because the amount of overgrowth on it doesn't give it, takes away the detail of shape, but it is definitely a structure that has been overgrown. It is it's tall in the sense that it's bigger than the trees, but it's not as tall as, say, a skyscraper or anything like that. It's not that big, but it's quite long. So off to your left and right you can see this overgrown, this structured shape with a lot of overgrowth to it, and you start seeing little pockets of neon green within it.
Is that the metal that's neon green?
No, lighting, actual lighting.
Okay. What is the actual metal though? What colour is it?
It's very hard to deter. It's covered in algae type green and overgrowth. You'd have to spend a lot of time, and the bits you do see are of a rust and aged metal.
It's not golden then.
Not yet.
I mean, slightly orange tinged.
So you head towards that. Once you get up the gangway, and this is now before you, it then dips down, and you can see that there are more and more people now, and it's almost like you've come over a wall, and you look down into this area, and there is a populace. There is these makeshift areas like hab blocks that have been made from scrap, whatever they can get. There's a lot of forestry in there where they've just real makeshift Boy Scout type stuff, where they've just fixed it all together to whatever metalwork is going on around the place, and they've created this village, as it were, or very small town of. Larry has a bit of a nostalgic moment where, apart from the amount of wood and vine that's been used, it's got that makeshift find what you can, scrap it together, junkyard village type feel to it, but obviously very naturistic rather than your over the top metalwork and stuff. The neon green lights that you start seeing around, they've got a variation of hue to them. You can see that some of them are wired into somewhere, and there's cables running, very makeshift, that you'd use at like festivals as such. There's some sort of power source and they run a cable out with a large light bulb on the end of it. But you also see these natural hues of green, where they've jarred their glass jars with something in them that's creating the glow that are used in some of the hangings of these makeshift hab blocks and stuff like this. It's quite a surreal 2185 nature town. But it's but there's people in there, people doing stuff like walking around. They look quite small from where you are up high as you're coming into it, like a valley. But you have essentially in front of you a populace of a small town. Making your way down. As you come down the side, there is.
I make a kind of an assessment of how militarized these guys are. Does it feel like they've got an organized? Are they all armed? Does it seem like an organized, combat-ready organization, or is it a bit more society, like families and stuff, and a few of them are armed?
Give me a bureaucracy. There we go.
That's a thing.
It is now.
3.
Yeah, it is. It's the third skill on the list.
And I got it's a strong 3.
It's as strong as your 6, mate. I'll give you that.
What is it, me and social characters, man? Like,
I gave you a marine, and you've come out with these bloody. Can I just use my people skills if you want?
you made the character. This is all on you.
It's just nostalgic, mate. The only feel you get from it is it's as people going about their business and militaristic as you've seen at other Badlander villages.
Okay.
So go on.
As we have been walking through, have I noticed any of them that are literally just watching us, like on a sentry position as we're walking down this gangway, effectively?
They do have sentries on the higher bit where you guys have gone over. Not in the ape-like mech arms.
Some of them even have long rifles. Which so are watched effectively as we're walking.
Well, they're watching out. You just happen to be in their periphery as they're coming past. These are sentries of the populace rather than specifically for you.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So you go into the. They take you down into the town square. Is probably they have a larger area where you would assume it's used for similar things of gathering people to speak to them. As you go down, every time, Becky, can you turn that down, please? And Dave says, "Bless you for sneezing." So you go into the town square part of this strange populace, and now you have people looking at you. And what you notice, Larry probably spots it first, but more so because of the sensory overload he's having right now. But Alex is all over it with his high perception skills. There's a lot of normal folk. It is, whereas in District 3, 4 and 5 was just opportunistic. Like, you kept your wits about you because, you know, if you blinked for too long you get robbed or stabbed for a bloody cigarette. 4 and 3 obviously a bit more up there, and you keep your eyes out because people are looking to make an opportunity rather than just taking advantage of one. But here you don't get that. You're kind of just walking around civilians you've never really come across before. Most of your time has been conflict when you've come across civilians outside the city, or even those inside the city. The only time the military's used is never really for peace talks over the last few years. It's been for conflict. So being around these civilians that, like, Alex will do his assessments, Chase will, you know, he's been bounty hunting, he can read people. Jean, you've been in situations where your medic skills have been needed, usually in conflict. It's a strange feeling to no one's. They're curious, but no one seems to be carrying weaponry. There's families, couples, randoms, just, you know, people getting on. They seem to be just helping one another shift stuff from A to B if it needs it. There is a small playground area with a few of the young ones playing on it. It's just a very quiet small, weird town in the middle of this forest. Probably large village is a better description. But they, when you get taken down to this square, you do get a bit more curiosity because you are with these, well, whatever they perceive these ape walkers to be part of as this small pocket is obviously to take note. They bring you down into the small square. The leader comes back to you, does the whole decoupling from the large ape arms, stands in front of Jean. What you do notice is once he decouples, one of the others kind of goes over to the arms, starts doing something, pushing buttons or rewiring. They're doing something mechanical with it. Bless you, Alex. And they essentially walk the set of arms and helmet off. And the chap with the missing hair and that comes up to you.
Me?
Yeah, comes up to you, John.
Yeah.
Make wait. And just like does this with his hand, as if to say, wait here.
Okay.
Cool. And then he just fucks off. He walks away out of the market square, away from you in the opposite direction to where you've just come. And he goes into a 2-story building. Say building. And it's this building is more part of the structure than some of the makeshift hab blocks and that around you.
Okay.
And he just walks through. But what you do notice is when he approaches, the door does the whole woof and disappears, lets you through, comes back, and he disappears in there. And you can see some of these neon greenish hued lights in that structure, and you can see movement, but not any. It's just a casting of shadows rather than anyone hiding in the window. Those that brought you in under guard, when he goes away, they just turn and start, and they go back up. They just leave you. They just leave you in the square. Lots of people looking at you now curiously. They don't come near you at first. A few of the children try to go towards you, and older folk grab them. Don't want to be messing with them. But you're kind of just getting looked at.
As we're being told to wait here, the people that are around us as well, that are not the guards, are they making the same clicking and noises as well?
Give me a perception check.
18.
18. Okay, so... I'm just changing music. For those of you that can hear the music on the chat, we use Sirenscape. Or Sirenscape. I don't know if that'll come through, but we'll soon find out. So what did you get in your perception? 18 was it?
18, yes.
18. They are speaking similar to yourselves. Very hush, very quiet. It might be a bit slower, but you're in the city where everything is 100 miles an hour. So they could just be talking normally, and the city folk talk fast.
I will talk towards Alex and let him know very quietly. They're speaking English slowly, not the clicks.
As soon as you point that out, Alex, you pick it up.
Is it the same stunted English as the leaders got?
Nope. It is as it appears as fluent as you lot, just at a slower pace.
Okay. So you said that it's basically like a town square. There's not a lot to it. It's barely, and then there's some buildings around the side, and then there's a child's play area. Was there?
Yeah.
Okay. 413X will walk towards the child's play area.
If you pull a pistol, kid.
I will say to Alex before at 413X before he does. Best not stay here.
413X ignores it and carries on walking towards the child's play area.
Cool. While he does that, or they do that, what are you three doing?
Is there any kind of sign of any activity or anyone who's coming to talk to us, or they
Not other than a few. There's
still
no
under
one.
on guard?
No, they've gone. So as soon as the leader went, wait, and Jean nodded, that were it. They dispersed, and the leader went off to that building, and just left you all in the middle of the square. The 8 walkers, they went back up.
I'll just hang fire.
Cool.
I'll stand here, effectively as a sentry, just so no
Yeah.
one gets to jump on us.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on things, just seeing
Cool.
if there's any hostile actions.
John, wanna blow it up? I mean, they've got
Played for
electricity.
2 hours. You haven't killed anyone in 2 hours, mate. You feeling alright?
I'm gonna say you've not crashed a plane, all right? Are you all right?
Jesus.
I think he's decided himself on muting himself.
I've not rolled the dice for half an hour, so I reckon I can keep that up for another half an hour. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Maybe after the break you'll roll a bit better.
Yeah. Okay, so Alex, you walk up to the child's play area. There is about 4 kids, all looking like they might be 9 or 10, but you all notice that. So the smell of barbecue. I do apologise. The smell of barbecue when you came in. All of these hab blocks have some sort of half drum barbecue going on. So everywhere around you, someone is cooking. There's a lot of cooking going on, and it
Can
is.
I make just a general nosy and wander over and see if I identify the food they're cooking?
If you want,
I would.
it looks like meat.
Is there any uncooked stuff or stuff that hasn't cooked yet that I would be able to notice?
No, everything. There is no waiting food to be cooked. Everything.
White or red?
Red. You're one of my games, lad. White meat extinct years ago, mate. You know what I mean?
It's a good thing.
Alright. Is there any sort of guards or sentries other than like just general townsfolk who seem to be keeping an eye
in
out?
the townsfolk? No. Anyone you
There's no-
saw with a weapon or anything like that is on that high wall that you didn't even really know was a wall till you came over it, and they're looking out. They give no.
Does there
fudge.
seem to be any sort of, I don't know, like store owners, like that type of
Yeah. So
person?
these hub blocks, there seems to be. They make a mix of living area. I say shop. It's more. You've grew up in the Badlands. There isn't shops. Just people have stuff that other people want and they trade that off. Do you know what I mean? There is no shop. You go here to buy these things. If Alex has got a nice toothbrush that you want, and you've got a nice tin of deodorant he wants, you swap it. Like there's no shop.
Raid.
Can I see if I can spot
Yeah.
an adult member of the society who's just like wandering about or going about their business?
You spot one. There's loads of them. Loads of
Can I-
people.
I'll walk towards them.
You can walk towards them. So, Alex, you walk towards the play area.
Was it mine? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought Rob wanted to.
Turns up late, fucking hijacks the game, you know what I mean? So you go walking towards an adult. Alex, you make it towards the play area. There's a small climbing frame, a swing, a little roundabout.
And 4 9 to 10-year-olds.
Yeah, ish.
Okay. Running a cursory glance over them, do any of them look like they're suffering from radiation poisoning?
All 4 of them.
Okay. Does it look like that's been consistent throughout their age, or
Hard to tell. Give me a medicine check.
that's what I was waiting for? Oh, yes! 25. Not a natural 20.
Cool. It's still hard to tell. Like, it's not like you've not seen it this. You think they'd be dead by now. Like they seem to have. They seem to be on the far end of radiation poisoning that adults don't generally survive. But these 9 or 10-year-olds, they're just. I mean, you can see it all over them. Your medicine check just increases.
Red rashes, shortened fingers.
Everything.
bleeding,
Nails are
everything.
fucked. Their eyes are just not as as they should be. The hair is very similar to the leaders. It's patchy. But they don't seem to be phased. They seem to just be chilling out. As you approach, they back slightly, like a step, but then just let you approach. They don't really freak out or anything.
Okay. I'll take the backpack off, and then rummage in it and pull out to what passes as whatever the form of food or rations or energy bars are, and I'll break them open and split them in half to give to the children. Crow offered on my hand.
They immediately take them. You're quite impressed, actually. That's some reflexes.
Weird question. While they're eating, do their teeth are they
fudged?
There as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
As
You've seen a lot of these symptoms. Sorry, Jess. You've seen a lot of these symptoms on dead people.
But these are very much alive, and
they don't seem to be slowed down.
Okay. 413X will attempt to join in whatever game they're playing in a vague, not understanding kind of manner.
They had they had a tin cup, and there was some sort of knuckle bones in it, and they were just tossing them on the floor when you approached.
Okay.
There's literally no painting, symbols, or anything on these knuckle bones of whatever animal or human they came from. They're just knuckle bones in a tin that they're throwing on the floor. They seem to know what they were doing.
Okay. In which case, 413X will go back in the backpack and pull out 4 dice from his game set that he's got.
Fucking role players. Okay, yeah, you pull out 4 dice. There.
I want my backstory 5 minutes. You contacted everybody else for theirs. I'll force mine down your throat.
I think you're fine. I only contacted Chase. Cole, you die.
You left me to die.
Next.
So you pull out the 4 dice. They immediately like fuck the tin. They're like whoa, and one of them steps forward. Girl or boy, no idea. What's that?
I'll literally hold one and spin it in my hand.
Are these D6?
Yeah.
Dice. Like none of them have a clue what word you've just used.
I'll indicate the 1 side, then the 2, and then the 3.
Are they numbers
4.
or dots?
Dots.
No. Oh, number. They're number rocks. Can't believe I just said the number rocks. Jesus Christ.
Clicky clacks. Shiny clicky clacks.
This is happening and you made it.
Do you want to play?
Yes.
They just shift and like just assume you're gonna sit, and they make space. The 4 of them.
Yeah. 413X will join in.
Cool. You sit and you play dice with them. Whilst you're playing dice with them, we're gonna have a break because it's 21:34. We'd have probably got more done if we'd have started on time, but we don't like to play the blame game round here. But
we don't.
But it's Rob's fault. It's Rob's fault, and I'm very childish. So okay. So thank you very much for watching. Please stick around and watch the second half and see where Alex's backstory goes.
See who Jean kills this week.
See who Jean
or what he can pretend to be.
We're going to show some little image slide now of people that support the stream and have helped out in various ways, etc, etc. If you like what you see, go check them out on Facebook and other social medias. They should be quite easy to find. So yeah, we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Yeah, about 10 minutes. Oh, and go shout about the stream, get people watching. I want more people. I love you all. Bye bye.
Subscribe to YouTube.
Subscribe to YouTube. YouTube. I need 11 more. 11 more. Hello. Hopefully you can all hear us. Garblag, I hope you're still about. I don't know if you're... I've not got my Twitchy stuff on. I don't know if you're playing tonight. But thank you for jumping in, even though I hope you enjoyed the break. Yeah, let's do this. Welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. We're going to carry on with our Carbon 2185 Cyberpunk RPG made by Dragon Turtle Games, who sponsor the show. If you want 10% off your web store purchases, obviously at Dragon Turtle Games, not everywhere, go use the code WAITE, W-A-I-T-E. Hopefully soon change to Gravy, but I'll let you know. You'll get 10% off. So if you got, it doesn't work on pre-orders. So if you buy stuff, then do grab it. We're loving it. So if you like 5e and you like Cyberpunk, you can't go wrong. Right, just before the break, this lot had been escorted to this large village that is in the middle of this radiated forest north of San Francisco, where they originally crashed their wonderful, not irreplaceable, expensive space jet. They were escorted to the town, to this village. They've gone over the wall. They are now in the village. They've just been left in the square of this village. I swear to everyone watching, this is not D&D. This is Carbon 2185. A dragon comes in with a wizard on its back. Alex went and spoke to some of the children and is currently playing dice games with them. And Larry has gone to interact with one of the grown-ups. It's a very strange game we're playing right now, but we're going to dive back in. Chase and Jean are staying there. Chase is making Jean doesn't touch anything.
As Alex is playing with the kids and the dice, what are the adults doing? Are they watching him as if what's happening, or are they just going about the business?
They're going about the business.
Right.
There is an element of freedom here and lack of suspicion. Like no one's staring at you two. Like there's no one just like eyeballing you. They kind of were curious when you first came over because you obviously stand out a lot to these lot. Their fashion of this place is, I mean, Larry's in a leather jacket that looks like it's been run over by a combine harvester 6 times, and that still looks like Armani compared to what these lot are wearing. So they cover their modesty and extra bits where they can, but they are essentially in scraps of clothing. The odd person's got a single boot on. There's a lot of barefoot, but not like, it's not like they're living out. There's probably a better way to describe this, but they don't look tribal. They don't look like ancient tribes from caveman days. They look like they belong in this year. They're just not well equipped, it seems. So,
Right, fair enough.
Alex, whilst you are playing dice with the children, are you speaking to the children or are you just enjoying the game?
No, I'm going to try to raise them in conversation about the village life. Were they brought up here?
Okay, so the one that spoke to you previously, go for it. What do you ask first?
Well, first of all, I'll teach them the dice game, which is just basically a form of, we'll put rocks in a pile. Whoever gets the highest dice whoever gets the highest roll takes the rocks. If there's split, then we split the rocks. Form of gambling for children.
Why do they only go up to 6?
Because there are only 6 sides on this dice.
Can you get bigger dice? Yes, 20.
Probably, yes. However, I only have 6 sides in dice.
Well, can we... And before she or he asks, the lad next to them hits them. It's okay.
Hits the other kid?
Yeah, so the one that was about to ask you a question gets hit. Not like punched, just like, no, as they hit them.
I'll stop and look pointedly at the one that struck the other one, and then look back and go, please continue.
Can we keep them?
Yes.
And the one that got...
You could have paid for our lives with them.
The one that got... yeah, Larry's like, that is like $4,000. The one that got hit looks well smug to the one that hit them. Cool. Where are you from?
I am from the larger city to the south.
Largest? There is no larger city to the south.
There is a much larger city.
Give me a perception check, persuasion check.
Four.
Cool. They start laughing. Pretty much like that. They start laughing. Okay. And they go about.
Pats him on the head.
Yeah. Good robot, man. They carry on playing the dice a little bit. Engage.
Were you born here?
Yeah, over there. And just points at the building that the leader walked in.
What is that building?
That's kind of. Some of us call it the baby building, some of us call it the boss building. Lots of stuff happens there, but mainly for the grown-ups.
Ah, and where do you live now?
Here, just looks around as if to say, like, anywhere I want to.
And these other buildings, what are they for?
They keep the fire rain off us.
The fire rain?
Yeah, like, and they show you their arm, and there's little speckles all over their arm of burns. When it rains, it's like fire, so we call it fire rain.
Ah,
I got a 5.
a good roll. I got a 6.
Give me a persuasion check.
I literally rolled a 6. Not so bad. 19.
Oh, right, you've done the kid. Okay. And if yeah,
Yeah, I'll just continue. How many adults? How do the adults work in this place?
How do they work?
What jobs do they do?
Jobs. They all 4 of them. Like, what? Are you just making words up now?
The suits, and I'll point at if there are any left that are giant walking gorilla type suits.
None whilst you were talking to them.
The gorilla suits, the large, and I'll make large arm.
They just look after the place. Like, sometimes we get what's the word? Bionimals.
By animals?
Yeah, somewhat like that. I got 2.
I also got a 2. We share half.
Share?
Yes, half. Half pile.
Oh, I'm happy about that. Okay. What did you say? By animals, yeah.
Did they? Is that what they are?
What or what?
The walking creatures, are they by animals?
No, that's just. It's just they're just tinkerings.
What are the by animals then?
Oh, they're like big. And then one of the lads on the far left of the 4 is like monsters. They're monsters.
Do they attack and hurt?
They do if they get you. Like, they'll rip your head off and bite you and eat you, and when you die they'll kill you.
But the larger people with ape suits protect you from them.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're really strong.
And what do you eat?
Whatever they kill.
Is it by animals?
Sometimes. Sometimes we get the, I think they call them rabbits. Pretty big, they can feed a few of us.
Excellent. Well, I will leave you in peace with the game. Enjoy the dice.
Thank you. We're keeping this one, yeah?
As in the dice that I was using.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll flick it to the one that's been talking to me.
Cool. They catch it. And sort of look at the other three like, hey, motherfuckers. So,
And I'll pick up the pack and I'll walk back to the others.
cool. As Alex is doing that, and Larry, you bump in, you go towards an adult. She eyeballs you as you walk towards her. Hello!
Hello. Seem to have found our way into a group of your fellow people who brought us here. Just wanted to see if we could get to know a few of you, see what's going on.
Are you okay?
Bit battered and bruised, but not too bad.
Would you like a drink?
I'm alright, thanks.
Are you sure?
Appreciate the effort though.
You look like you've been shot through the air in a tree.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. What's your name?
I don't have one.
What do other people call you?
No, they don't. They just talk to me. Like I'm talking to you. What do you need a name for?
Some people know talking to you and not somebody else?
They know my face. I know your face. I go talk to one of your friends. I know it's not you.
It's true. Who's the gentleman? Did you when you brought us in? The older gentleman. Is he your leader, your boss?
She looks like she's trying to fight with the words you've just said. No, it's not. What did you say, boss? Not boss. He helps out with those on the wall. He makes sure that they all do their job.
Okay. What is their job?
They stop the animals from outside the wall coming in and essentially tearing us all apart.
Does it happen too often? Is there a lot of animals out there?
Oh yeah. Do not be going out there. Although you've got some weird looking contraptions, some weird tinkerings.
These keep us safe, a bit like the...
What happened to your hands?
Oh, they're fine. It's just a...
They look like they're made out of tinkerings.
They are. Keep my hands safe. Protect me.
Oh. What do you need protecting from? You sure you don't want a drink? You look parched.
I'm fine. It's the same thing you people will be protected if we go out past the walls, if we're out and about and animals attack us, these keep us safe.
Don't be punching them. Well, you did bang your head out there, didn't you?
Take your advice. What sort of animals are out there?
We don't really name them. We just know what they look like.
Can you describe a couple for me?
Yeah, there's a few they're like on 4 legs, big teeth, lots
big?
of fur. How big are the teeth?
No, how big is the creature?
Oh, probably 2 of them, and points at Chase.
Do they travel on their own, or do they travel in groups?
Groups. That's why we got to send a lot of the guard out.
And do they bother you more in the daytime or nighttime?
Mainly nighttime.
So when people go out of the village and things, you try and do it during the daytime, is it?
What's a village?
Where you live? Do you ever go out?
Not if we can help it. We got everything we need here, and the food. If we're running low, the guard lot bring it in for us when they kill some of these animals.
All right.
You don't want to get caught out in the forest, not with the fire in.
How often does that happen?
Just when it rains.
Every time? So it's all like just the normal rain? It's dangerous?
Oh yeah, it is normal rain.
Okay. And what do you do to keep safe? Just stay inside, or is there any sort of...
Find shelter. Make sure there's something between your head and the fire in.
Alright. Good to know. At this, can I look around and see if we see any of the guys who escorted us in? they asked us to wait. Is there any sign of them returning?
There's only like 15 minutes past. So not yet. Like, you've gone over there, Alex has gone over there.
Sure.
Jean's putting 2 red wires into a bit of plastic C4.
Big brick of Play-Doh.
I'm a medic, I know what I'm doing.
I'm good with explosives.
Alright. Thanks for the chat, and thank you for the offer of the drink, but I'm fine.
Alright.
And I'll nod and head back to the group. Is Alex still over with the kids?
Alex is now coming back towards the group.
Well then.
As
It turns out...
Hang on, Chase, what were you going to do?
as them two were talking to the kids and the adults, I was just going to ask Sean, can you pump a bit of healing into me, if you can, whilst we're studying, whilst they're talking?
Can you do the thing you're good at?
Will I die if you do?
Jean just reaches out with his cybernetic arm without saying anything and
Plane crashes in the distance.
gives him a basic heal.
Okay.
Sorry, a quick heal.
For how many?
7.
Thank you.
I'll, if everyone's together, so I just spoke to one of the locals. Turns out is the reason they've got all these guards and things. They've packs of large creatures, wildlife in the forest. It advises people they tend not to go out at all. They stay in here unless they absolutely have to. Could be something we need to keep an eye out for as and when we decide to take a leave.
Alex, you're back with them, by the way.
I'm waiting for him to finish.
Oh, okay.
The rain here is pretty dangerous. They call it fire rain. They don't go out in it. Says it's dangerous. Burns. That's it.
Having spoken to their children in the area, this unit has determined that they have grown with radiation sickness and poisoning. However, this unit has only ever seen such levels of burns and sickness in most people that are close to perishing. However, these children are fully able and fully functional.
So you built like a tolerance to it?
This unit would guess so. This unit
It's
also
not-
found out about fire rain and about something that the children called bi-animals. This unit is also aware that the indigenous people of this area also eat something called rabbits.
Animals might be what the lady over there were talking about. Apparently they're twice as big as our chase over here and don't take kindly to people out in the woods. Aggressive, violent. You any idea what we're waiting for?
This unit also is aware that the building that the gentleman that escorted us here went into is known as the communal area or adult building or child building. I believe it is probably a makeshift building of many purposes.
The older fellow who brought us in here, I'm not sure what they call him. No one here seems to have a name. They just seem to talk to each other. They don't identify each other by name or anything. And he seems to be in charge of the guards, or at least looks after the guards, make sure they're all doing what they're supposed to do. Probably as close to a leader as we're going to find, I think. You guys got any worries about what they plan?
Not my worries of
I was thinking
things that
if things turn south here, I don't think the woods are the safest place in the world either. If we get caught out there during a rainstorm, we might be in a bit of trouble.
We are still, I believe, this unit believes that we are still 3 days away from San Francisco.
Yeah, that's my worry. If there's these creatures out in the woods and fire rain, might need to make allowances for that when we make our journey back to the city.
I don't think they're going to give us a choice to leave. I think we are effectively their hostages. They're just being polite about it.
This unit doesn't believe that this society understands the concept of that. This unit does believe, however, that we as a collective unit have deceased members of their community, and thus they will ask for recompense for that.
That's my feeling too. I mean, we're still armed. They've not taken our weapons from us. We're not tied up. We're not under armed guard now. I think they're more deciding what to do. I can't imagine this happens to them too frequently.
This unit is also mostly quite disturbed by the fact that they are all placid and quite kept.
Would I recognise that as a trait of other Badland groups that I was part of? Was the Maxers a similar sort of...
Your experience of Badlanders is dog eat dog.
Okay. Very different to this.
Yeah, these lot look like they've solved civilization.
Sure. I'll pass that on, yeah. I mean, I grew up in the Badlands, a group called the Maxers out south. It was nothing like this. There was nothing like this level of calm. Strongest survived out there.
If this unit had any form of superstitious ability to it, or any precognitiveness, it would think that we should probably get out of here quite quickly before we disturb their calm.
Yeah, I mean, calm or not, Badlanders are Badlanders. If things turn south, it's going to get messy.
No, mostly this unit just doesn't want to bring any kind of chaos to this area. It's quite tranquil and placid, and we are known for bringing chaos.
That's fair. That's fair. I'd say if we plan on making a getaway or plan on leaving, we don't want to be heading out at night. We need some sort of cover to get under or something to protect our skin, at the very least.
I think it's worth waiting until the guy comes back and seeing what he says at the moment.
I get the feeling the general population don't see outsiders very often and have no reason to be hostile towards us.
Yeah. So I think we should do what the guy said and just wait for the time being. And then obviously, depending on how the situation unfolds, if people can say the right words looking at Jean.
I don't want to fight here.
Yeah.
These people have done nothing wrong.
However the situation unfolds, I think it's worth just seeing how that plays out effectively. Because they might be able to help us get back to the city, if need be.
These people, from what speaking to the woman, they seem not barely leave this area. They might have even travelled to the city before.
They don't, but the guys that are the apes might have.
Their children were completely unaware of the city 3 days to the south of them.
Be concerned if our friend from the sky stumbles across this place.
That is another concern, but that's for a situation when we come across it.
This unit can only hope that Jean did enough damage to the other unit that it exploded before we crashed. Or that one of the wild indigenous large double-sized chase units has eaten him.
We survived the crash and made it here without being eaten. He could.
But let's just wait until what this leader effectively says.
I mean, for what it's worth, regardless, like, we can't stay here. We need to get back to the city. If these folk here we can stay on the good side, maybe we can requisition coverings, whether we can get something to keep us protected from the rain, and we don't want to be travelling 3 days without anything.
Yeah.
This is as closest to shelter as we're going to have if it rains.
I think he's gonna offer us a deal, effectively. I think he's gonna come back and offer us to help them, and then they'll get us back to the city.
Just these type of groups, I think, don't really deal in monetary value. Works differently out here. It's more value of equipment, stuff that they can use, stuff that they want. So it's not like in the city where you can just drop someone some coins, some one longs, and be fine.
Well, again, let's just wait until see what this guy says to us then. That's the only thing we can do at the moment.
What do we do if it turns south?
We've got weapons. We can
I don't want to
fight our way out, but be non-lethal.
They've done nothing wrong. He's right. We crashed this plane, and killed half their people. Like, I don't want to be drawing any more bloodshed.
Thus, let's make it non-lethal if it does turn south.
Alright.
We're all capable people. We know combat. We can not effectively kill anything.
Worth us taking an hour and just taking it steady for the next hour, see what happens.
But let's just wait till he comes back and see what's goes from there.
Don't know about the rest of you when that explosion went off. It's left a few aches and bruises. I won't mind taking it easy for a little while.
Yeah.
This unit is running at 100% fully functional capacity.
Good for that unit. Don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take an hour.
As you are talking it through, the adult building, you hear the woof, woof. You look across. You see the person that brought you here walk out, scraggly bits of hair. Behind them, there is quite a tall, looks male, coming towards you. Must be 6'5", not big in the sense of the hoorah, but they're just quite big framed on a very thin body, like they're skeletally big. Their jacket hangs off them. They just look like they have very broad shoulders and are very tall and are not of the they're just not built like Chase or anything. Yep. They have a limp in their left leg. One side of their head is bald, and they have a long blue and green sort of plait that comes off the side of their head, as if they've got a strand of blue and a strand of green and plaited it together, and it hangs off the side of their head. Their eyes flash between blue and green, as there's definitely some sort of bionics, augmentation, cybernetics, something is going on with their eyes that makes them go blue and green. It does not look a natural process. Let me get my page. Yep. They, despite his limp, keeps pace with the shorter chap in front of him. He's coming towards you, so his long trench coat is hanging around by his ankles, which gives him an extra tall look. It's belted, so you can't see much else. But on their hands, they have two very large leather, like almost to the elbow, leather gauntleted gloves. As you come towards him, Jean, you recognise the headgear that they've got. So it's got the two earpieces that is similar to the smaller versions of what Jake wears, like little headphones. But what you recognise them as, Jean, is medical aid. So they give you your zoomed in magnification during surgery and such, and you know that they will extend in front of the eyes to give them that holographic look for deeper when they're doing surgery and stuff. They're essentially a surgeon's goggles, which you know to be specific to surgeons, because surgery compared to doing it on the fly, two very different things. So wherever they've got these from, that's a piece of kit, to be fair, if you compare it to the rest of the area. Yep.
Okay.
They look towards you. As they get closer, for those of you that are not 6'5", they do appear to be very, very tall, just because of their thin nature. Stands in front of you, looks at Jean. As they're approaching, the shorter one with the scruffy hair points at Jean, and so he comes towards Jean, and he stands in front of you and says, "What brings you to my town?"
Did you say that to me?
Yep.
We crashed in the forest.
I saw.
We were attacked.
You were attacked when you landed in the forest, or before you landed in the forest?
before we landed, we were attempting to make. Is he speaking normally?
He is. As I am speaking, that's how he's speaking.
Yeah. We were attempting to make a trip off planet when we were attacked by.
Give me a sense motive. Just as you say, off planet.
21.
There is a reaction, like creases around the eyes, as the recognition of your statement of off planet. And carry on with your sentence.
Okay. We were attacked by 3 adversaries. In the ensuing firefight, our ship took more damage than allowed us to remain in the air. We were forced to crash land. When attempting to salvage the plane, one of the power cells was breached, which caused the explosion.
I cannot hold you to blame if the power cells are breached. For accidents happen, and I'm sure a crashing of a jet would definitely breach such an item. I do need to know if this is the person that you were fighting. And they nudge the smaller guy, and he pulls out the oldest visual tablet. You lot saw it on your granddad's shelf, you know what I mean?
Like an iPhone 10.
Yeah. And shows you it, and there is a recording of bison in the forest, sat on a very thick root, drinking something. He looks in a bit of a rough state, to be fair, but he's still got his ever-changing rainbow jacket on.
That is the one that attacked us, yes.
This person killed many of my townsfolk.
You know where he is?
Not now, but I know the direction he is.
South.
He is heading south, yes.
I'll interject. Was he by himself, or did he have a metal robot suit with him?
The person that brought you there looks at you like you've spoken a made-up language when you say that. But the tall bloke in front of you, he had no such suit or companion with him. He was alone. Although I will say he was more than overwhelming for my people when they tried to engage him in conversation.
Was he armed?
He was, and still is.
What with?
Things that set fire to my people. Things that went through them as if the teeth of some of the beasts we defend against.
We are aware of what you speak of, and we would like to. I don't know about the rest of my friends here, but I personally would like to go and retrieve his head.
Yeah, but you want to stop him hurting anyone else?
He orchestrated, I believe, a culling of friends and colleagues we had once. And
We
he has
very
been-
much want to see him dead.
Yes.
We're happy to go out and go after this guy, but we might need some advice, some help on how to survive out there. Understand you have an issue with local wildlife, what you call fire rain.
And we will struggle to catch him up if we go on foot.
How do you deal with the fire rain here when you're out and about?
We avoid it. It is that simple. Rain is... You've dealt with rain, I'm sure, in the city.
Yeah. Our rain's not fire rain, but yeah, we know of it.
If you don't want to get wet, what do you do?
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
Does it eat through metal?
It has tarnished some of our metalwork, but has not yet eaten through it. Although there are potencies of the fire rain that we have. We used to test our fortitude under the rain, but it has come to a point now that the variations are so random that it's not worth, in case there is a stronger rain than there was yesterday.
Would it go like something? Would it go through something like this? And I'll kind of pull up the side of my jacket.
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no.
And the animals out there in the wilderness.
Creatures reacting to the radiation very much like these people you see around you.
I see you guys have found a way of dealing with them. It's the best way of dealing with them if we need to.
You shoot them,
What works?
you kill them, you stab, bite, punch. There'll be no mercy from these creatures. They cannot be tamed, they are not as animals as you may have met or domesticated in the past.
So we shoot first, questions later.
Our best way is to avoid them. When we engage them, there is always loss of life. We are not big enough to lose lives.
Understood. Are we free to leave?
He thinks for about, it feels an eternity, but it's only about 10 seconds. You are free to leave. The one that brought you in doesn't react to free to, but as soon as he says leave, he hoots and whistles and clicks quite agitatedly towards the...
Do I recognise the language?
No, you do just... It's code, mate. You recognise it as a very made-up Morse code. Like...
As DM, we say like thieves' can style situation.
Yeah, it's their own language, mate. It's, you know,
Sure.
Morse code is, you know, is sounds, dots, lines, etc.
Okay.
It's just a very basic code that you can use if you don't know a specific verbal language.
I understand some of your people got hurt in the crash and the explosion, but we never meant for that to happen. We didn't want to crash. We ended up here. We got shot out of the sky by the gentleman, the guy you've got on there on the display. We want to make it right by making sure he doesn't do anything again. The only way that's going to happen is if you let us leave and let us deal with him.
I have said you are free to leave.
Your friend here seems to not agree as much.
You come bearing weapons of... He has never seen such weapons. He is fearful of them.
Understood.
As he says fearful, the bloke stands up like chest out at 5'8" next to his 6'5" gaffer.
But he grew up here, you didn't.
Correct.
Why did you come here?
Peace.
You're from the city.
I am not.
Where are you from?
If you wish,
You are from the wormhole.
if you wish more conversation, then we can do so over a meal and a drink. It is late, as my friend here tells me you spent a lot of time amongst the wreckage of your jet.
That's true.
I would not advise leaving tonight. And it is towards night time.
I agree.
Is that because of the beasts?
Very much so.
Do you know where the city is from here?
It is, if you were to fly it, 3 days south. If you were to walk the forest at a normal pace, I would say anywhere between 4 and 5. Just because the terrain is not kind to those without method.
Understood.
I don't want to leave the city, but it'll be ideal to see what these beasts look like. So if we do go into the forest, we know what we are going to be coming up against.
Do you know what a wolf looks like?
Yes.
Do you know what a bear looks like?
Yes.
Merge them.
Merge them. Right.
And Beowulf.
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 Beowulf. I think it's best if we, if you want us to, if you're happy to have us for the evening, I'm grateful.
As long as you are well behaved, you have the hospitality of my abode.
You'll receive no problem from us.
When you say, you said the Marines to progress more effectively through the terrain. That means that you have, that we could make use of in order to catch up with bison?
I have, but I could not lend.
Sure, we go out there in the woods, there's 4 of us, we're all battered from that explosion. We go out there chasing after, I know you've got history with this guy, but if we get killed just chasing after him blindly, it doesn't solve anything.
What's your point?
You wanting to head out tonight?
No.
Fair enough. Sounded like you were wanting to chase after this guy.
I want to chase after him, but we're not going to catch him. He's got a day's head start.
That mech's still out here as well.
That mech was trashed. It's out here, it's a wreck somewhere.
I don't want to speak for 413X, but you guys had a bit of a rest in that jet. We haven't yet either, so we've not rested yet. We need to rest soon.
I've got no plans of leaving tonight at all.
This unit would welcome your hospitality.
I assumed. And he just gestures towards the building.
413X walks off towards the building.
Do you have a name, friend?
I do. And he walks off with Alex.
I follow Alex and the gentleman.
Oh, the fuck! not sure if narrative or DM avoidance.
It's called time warp.
Little bit of
So,
how'd you get away from naming random NPCs? They don't have any.
I will explain something after the stream. So, you, as you approach this hut, this building, this 2-story building, and realise that it is, well, not realise, you saw it before, that it is part of whatever structure this is. You okay?
Before we go inside,
okay.
I'll just sort of stop. I'll not be walking with them. Where can my skills be put to the most use in your village?
What are your skills? Don't listen to chat, John. Don't listen to chat, alright? Just. What are your skills?
Before I rest tonight, I still have some capacity to offer aid to folks who are injured with the abilities that I have. If there is some people I can help, I would like to do so.
With tool or nanite?
Nanites.
Then you would be very welcome in the building we are walking towards.
Very good.
Do you have supplies, things that we could trade with you or buy from you?
I cannot answer that unless you are to offer trade.
Looking for nanite healing packs, if you've got any bladed weaponry, surplus to your needs.
We can discuss over meal.
Very well.
Cool. So you walk through the building. Again, it is 2 stories. As soon as you walk in, there's no longer the smell of the barbecuing meat that was outside in the square. There is several rooms. You now notice that this is a really complex is the wrong word. It's a really exaggerated, multi-purpose is a good way, treehouse. With walls, some of the walls are metallic, where whatever structure it's built against is obviously covering that side. But then there is it's not organised, it's not blocked with stairs and stuff like this. There's a lot going on in there, but it is like kind of chaotic the way the layout of this is. They've essentially made it where it fits. The multi-purpose part is indeed that. There is areas that seem to be the newborn midwife area, like there are people in there giving birth as you actually walk in there. There is a ward, as it were, with a few baskets that have been made with babies in them, and people going through the process of death. You also notice areas that people are just eating. They're just sat there with a long table that has been made out of logs and such, and they're just eating, ignoring the wonderful bliss that's going on. There is a tinker area with a workbench that Sparks would love, where there is a couple of people behind this workbench making. They seem to both be working on one of those gorilla arms. Yeah, and they look up, ignore you lot, and carry on working on. There's little bits of sparks coming off and wiring being done. The tall gentleman, the one with the scraggy hair and the 5'8" doesn't actually come in the building with you. It's just you and the tall gentleman, and he takes you up a rope ladder to the next floor. And once you get up there, there is quieter rooms where people are being looked after. And Jean, you'll spot it mostly, but you three have seen this sort of place before. It is a resting place before passing on, and they are being just looked after, before they go. Whatever is keeping them in a sedated state isn't on a drip or anything like this. It does appear to be herbal, and there are a few people tending other people that are laid on just on the floor, but among vines and thick leaves and such that have been made. You do get a big clash of the cyberpunk genre of the city meets the jungle. There are neon lights, there are implements and tools that are common as back home in the city, but look quite rare around here. You only see a couple of them. Jean, yourself, you are aware that they are working like with whatever they've got, but you can see there is a level of technology here, but supply wise and resource wise they obviously do 80% with what they've got in and around them, and they save the 20% for the smaller pleasantries of technology. There is a room that is kind of kept nice and tidy. It's got a doorway in it. The first doorway you've seen, every other bit is just kind of an opening with a bit of a wall in to block stuff off. In there are several cots, as in adult cot beds, that are low to the ground but seem to be better made than the other stuff out there. There's no one else in there. You walk in, there is a table, there is a couple of incense sticks burning. There is a very low music playing that is just kind of there to give mood to the room and to the people listening that are on the way out. He sits, even sat down, he's still very tall, and he starts pulling out from like under a blanket that is put on the side. He starts pulling out these small silver like mess tins, and he just pushes the top of them, and they sort of do a blue line shimmer across the top, and they open up, and there is food in them, and it is Food very similar to what you ate on missions, like ration packs when you were doing your military time and such. And he seems to have an abundance of them in this crate that's under the blanket that he lifts. And he passes
Lean
them.
over to Jean. Doc, are these safe to eat, being out here in the radiated area?
They are.
Fair enough. Guess his hearing's good.
Well, you're in the same room.
Subtle and quiet. Stage whisper.
I texted him.
Technology doesn't work. We determined that last
Ah,
week.
but funny if he texted.
And I don't have the comms or anything that these guys have. I'll appreciate it. Thanks for your hospitality. Do you guys get
3X will eat them here.
Do you guys get many visitors? Do you see many outsiders here?
No and no.
Is that by choice?
I do not know. Alex, it's fresh, it's nice. You're not surprised it's fresh. The ration packs the military ration packs are really high quality. They keep
MRIs, sealed units.
Keep it fresh.
Gravy
for
time.
years. Thank you, Asharadel. I apologise for butchering your name, but thank you very much for the follow. I do believe we're nearly at 300 followers, just so you know, chat. I think we're nearly to 300 followers.
Wow.
Awesome.
6 more to go.
6 more to go? Come on, you must have friends. Must have
Bring him
friends.
in.
So,
If we get 6 more followers, I'll shoot Jean.
Becky, make a dummy account. Make a dummy account. So,
I'm just going to create some email addresses.
the ration packs that you are eating, the top quality stuff. You see Alex tucking in?
I will happily tuck
You
in.
can imagine a smile on his face.
I'll do the same. I'll eat.
That's
I'll
good.
pass.
It's nice. It's really nice.
I'll pass, but say thank you. But I'm not hungry.
I'll eat Jean's egg.
Bloody monks.
I will not allow him to take it off me. I'll pass it. Make sure it is passed back to the tall chap.
How committed are you to getting that bit of food, Chase?
Heavy MG.
It'll be a bit of a sigh, but if he's giving it back, I'll be like, fair enough.
Cool. Jean, you give it back. He takes it.
Just so you're aware, once the seal has been broken, they can't be resealed. You're thus wasting food.
No, because someone else here can have it.
He nods at you, and then he clicks quite loudly. One of the lads from across the way who were part of the caring facility bit, they walk over, and he clicks and does their language, their clicks and whoops, and they nod and they take the food back into that room. That is very nice of you. Thank you.
It's the least I can do.
So you have the evening. I will do my best to answer your questions. It has been a long time since I talked to anyone fluently.
How did you end up here? No offense offered, but it seems like you don't quite
It's gravy
match
time.
everyone else that are here.
Thank you, some old pirate, for following. 5 more to go, kids.
Start loading a shotgun.
Goodbye, Jean Jean Jean.
Yeah, like, so no offense offered, but it doesn't seem like you share the same as everyone else. You seem outside. How long have you been here?
I've been here 10, 11 winters, maybe.
You found this town, this gathering already here, and just joined them?
I did. They helped me. I was in a bad way when I arrived.
Sounds like 2 of us.
My arrival was not as loud as yours.
But you crashed.
Landed was a better way of describing my arrival.
Where were you stationed?
I am from the Aquarii system.
Was that familiar to any of us?
Jean,
Nothing.
yes. It is a star system.
It's gravy time.
Oh, Angie Pops now following. Thank you, Angie Pops.
Rack shotgun on the table.
Is that how many more now? Now is that 4 more? 4 more.
Or more.
Cool. Best get this role playing now, John. You're about to go. Bye bye. So, the Aquarii system is one of these systems, literally named after the Aquarius star sign out that way.
I mean, it seemed to be a long way from home, then, friend.
I don't tell anyone this.
Cool.
I assume because I've not heard of it, it's a long way away. That's my.
Yeah.
That's how that logic works.
Yeah, Aquarii system. You're like, yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, mate. I'm from Sheffield.
Say like it's a bad thing.
I'm not a long way from home. I'm a long way from where I was.
This home now, then.
For now.
Apart from the rain, it seems pretty peaceful.
It is peaceful. It is serene. They are raw. They are untouched by people.
Reminds me of a simpler time before the city.
Wow. You have a memory that far reaches further than many. They will not last long, I fear.
They've lasted longer than they should have done.
That is true, but
Is
as
that
with
because of your
anything,
administrations, or
it is the
natural?
radiation of the. My skill set is similar to yours.
Would I know that certain badlanders develop a tolerance to radiation?
You would. You are very aware, including yourself. I mean, your tolerance isn't as strong as others, but the tolerance that he speaks of, Alex explained to you about the children that the last time he saw that sort of level, you were either on your way out or gone.
Don't know how many of you three have left the city or ever lived outside the city. But you grow up out here, you spend enough time out here. Might not keep you alive forever, but you tend to be a little bit more resilient to it than city folk.
I do not mean they will perish in a week, but I do not believe they are a lasting people. Many of them will see grandchildren, but there will be a time that this area is quiet.
Do you have plans for what you will do then?
I will search for peace again.
Peace, something you've asserted of war from where you're from? Flee violence?
Yes is the simple answer.
Peace is hard to find nowadays.
Seems
is.
to be a...
Almost non-existent. Even this group of people here, I apologise as Larry starts to speak. Even this group of people here are unable to sleep without somebody using violence to protect them, and they are the most peaceful I have found.
Fleeing violence or fleeing to seek peace is as good of any reason to continue pushing forward.
The violence is not aimed at me, and therefore I am happy.
Violence tends to have a way of following people, though.
It's gravy time.
Trolls Medden. Yes. I completely zoned out your sentence, Larry.
It's alright.
Say again, mate. Sorry. It was because of
What's
the following chat. Trying to
Violence
get.
has a tendency to follow people seeking peace.
It does. But as long as I am not the one bringing the violence, I will face it if it eventually catches up. But I will not instigate violence.
Sounds strangely familiar.
The people here seem to look up to you like a leader.
I mean no insult to them, but intelligence to folks without intelligence sometimes gives advantage. I am, in their eyes, a very good healer.
They have the mech technology and capacity before you arrived. Was that something else you offered?
It was merely a smooth transition. They saved me when I was on the brink of death. They brought me here. They aided me in my recovery. I aided them with nanites, very much as your friend here. They had not seen such a thing. And being able to manipulate nanites, I brought some of them from the brink of death, where they'd only ever seen death. A mere what is the word? As for me, it was as if putting a plaster or a band-aid on a scratch, but for them it was saving mortality or fatality.
You mentioned that there were some that I could help.
Yes, you will have noticed on the way in, downstairs, those across the way are unfortunately beyond saving. But the stairs down, if you go down the stairs or the rope ladder across the way from the birthing area, you will find people who will greatly benefit from your skills. I am empty.
It's gravy
of the
time.
day. Thank you, Furlong, for the follow.
If you will excuse me then, I will go and do what I can.
I thank you. And Jean gets up, goes down the rope ladder.
It's gravy time.
Charlotte, thank you very much for the follow.
I believe that's one more to go. As Jean's doing his thing,
Yep.
I will bring my backpack round and get my Kevlar bodysuit and say, I know it's not much, but here to help protect the people here. I know it's not much, but it's something I don't need. And
What do you hand over? Kevlar bodysuit.
Yeah, because I've got a standard ballistic vest on.
He takes it and offers his hand to shake.
Check his hand.
His shake is strong, like farmer strong. His grip is not deliberate, he's just naturally strong.
People of here have access to ammunition.
We
Firearms.
do not. Yeah, I have not seen a firearm since before my time here.
I don't think giving them firearms would be ideal, as much as it's a nice gesture. I just don't think it would be the wise choice.
It is one gift I would turn away, I am afraid. I do not wish to bring firearms. They have crossbows of a sort that is more than, so far has been more than suitable enough to defend themselves against the creatures of the forest. I do have a question. Did you own the jet that crashed?
Unfortunately, no.
Will the owners come looking for it?
I doubt it. What's there's little left of it.
Truthfully, I believe they will.
I don't.
It was a lot of money.
After the explosion, there's nothing left for them to come fetch. They'll be more worried about us than the jet.
As a worst case, I do believe they probably will turn up.
Yeah. It's our problem to deal with. I don't think they're going to come out here.
This unit believes upon returning to the city, as soon as we go and return with information in regards to the explosion and the current situation of the jet, that they will not be looking through it.
Can we make an educated guess to how well the jet fared during a catastrophic fuel cell explosion?
Nope. You can make those guesses at your own leisure.
Alright.
I will ask the gentleman, since we've been in the forest, we've not been able to get any type of signal.
You will not.
Is there any no means here either that we can try and use? No.
Not for at least 2 days in all directions have I managed to achieve a signal of any sort, which has worked very well for me. But I can imagine if you are trying to get back to the city, a signal would be required.
Because like my friend here said, you know, if we can get back to the city and get a message to the people who own the jet, it would potentially stop them coming and trying to find it. My friend here says they won't come because of the explosion, but I'm not too sure. I would go as a worst case scenario that they will turn up, trying to look for the jet and us.
I would say you are both right. Whilst there has been an explosion and no functioning signal from yourselves that cannot be tracked, it is possible that those that sent you have reason to believe you are dead. But when signal is available to you and they are able to track, they may understand that the jet is no longer, but you are still around. And this is purely hypothetical.
And that's our issue to deal with. As soon as, you know, I think we're planning on heading back tomorrow. Once we're away from this area, there's no reason for them to bother you.
He believes you, or appears to. Jean, you climb down the rope ladder. You go to the room with the needy of your skills. One of the lasses comes up. She's like, you help?
I would like to, yes. Who is most in need?
Hailed. Come with me if you want to live. She looks at you confused and just like starts dragging you over. Help, help, and points at a bloke that looks. He looks like he's took a wound to the chest of something quite sharp and pointy.
I mean, I will do a medical assessment of him before I heal him to make sure I feel like it's going to help him.
Cool, give me a medicine check.
24.
24. It looks like he's fallen on something, like a metal spike or a wooden spike, and it's punctured through his chest and possibly a lung.
And is it still embedded in him?
No, it's gone in, and then they pulled him off it.
Yeah. Okay. In which case, I will. How hurt is he?
You reckon you could probably patch him up without nanites? If looking around, you see the tools they've got. You could get him patched up. He'd have only the use of one lung. But you could patch him up without nanites. If you use your nanites, you could patch up his lung as well.
How many of the people are in here?
Injured people, there are 6. Helpers, or people that are helping them, there's 3.
Before I'm going to triage everyone in the room basically and determine which ones I'm going to absolutely need nanites to heal, and which ones I think I can patch up without nanites in the interim.
Okay, give me another medicine roll for the room. You obviously know that one, so you have the other 5.
Maybe 5.
Jesus. Getting your skills off now, kid. So
now he gets all the good rolls.
It's about time.
It's because he's doing things that he's actually good at.
It's actually on his character sheet. So yeah, you triage the room, mate. You check out the room and roll a d6.
6.
All 6 of them need nanites.
Right. Okay.
But you can use non-nanite methods. They will just, their wounds would be fixed naturally rather than, well, not supernaturally, but with nanites. So for example, the guy with the lung, he will lose the use of one lung but survive, whereas a nanite would bring him back to full.
Okay. I will.
Nobody is in a life-threatening situation that as long as you treat them.
Yeah. Basically, the 3 that are in the worst condition, I will, and I have potential long-term ailments rather than the ones that can be temporarily fixed. I will. Well, if they're all going to need nanites, I will choose 3, starting with the first one, and then I will. But then I will say, it is possible that if I am able and they are able to get a restful time with me in their presence, my other means will be able to help the others as well.
So are you going to spend time with them to make that happen? Yeah.
Yeah, basically, yes. I'm going to try and use my spaff, like patch them up as well.
Yep.
All of them. So, I've got 2 quick heals and 1 basic healing left. So I'll sort 3 of them out, and then I'm going to basically spend an hour
Gravy time
with the rest of them to try and then to use my patch them up for the period on them all as well.
Okay, so you throughout the evening or the rest of the evening before you call it a night, this will be your end to the night, mate. You will patch them up with your skill, patch them up. You will use your quick heals, your extra heals. You will burn yourself out essentially of stuff. You turn around to walk back up the rope ladder, and Larry's there with a shotgun. Roll to hit, Larry.
I'll apply disadvantage to his roll.
You what? Roll to hit, Larry.
I'm not shooting Sean in the head.
I'll cause a distraction, applying disadvantage to his roll to hit me.
Cool. Larry, you have a +10. Thank you, Croy VR. Or Croy VR, thank you very much. Just got here to follow Angie Pops said so. Thank you very much, Angie Pops, for bringing in all these viewers. I do believe 2 things have just happened that have made me very happy. 1, Jean's getting shot in the face.
He isn't. I rolled a 3.
And you've just lost me 300 followers. And 2, we just hit 300 followers. Thank you very much, Croy VR, for being the 300. Thank you very much, Angie, and all your Angie Pops and all your lovely trolls that came along and jumped on to push us to 300. Thank you very much.
Netflix will be on the phone for the TV show any second.
Absolute legends. Absolute legends. You walk downstairs. You turn around. You see Larry with his shotgun. You look at him and be like, "What are you doing?" And he shoots the ceiling. And then you walk past him.
Wasted shells. Screw that.
You said it. You've wasted it. 1 shell gone. So
What?
no, you can't be throwing it out there. The people have spoken. They went out of their way to get you to use that shell. You should have rolled higher. Could have made it so worth something. You know what I mean? Jean's oblivious. He doesn't
Sean
have a.
3X will take a note from his thing where he had previously 20 shotgun rounds.
Yeah.
Sean's nursing a small child. His head just explodes.
So not with a 3. So Jean, that is your evening. You do all that. You heal. use your patch up, etc. That will be your evening before you get your head down for the night. Chase, Larry, and Alex, obviously eating with your host. Is there anything you wish to do before you talk about, etc., before you get your heads down?
I would ask if they have any. I won't ask for any medical supplies. I'm going to ask if they have any bladed weaponry or any knives, spears, that sort of stuff, surplus to what they need that they'd be willing to give up.
We can maybe find you some sharpened steel or that you could use as a shiv or a knife, dagger, but bladed weaponry is primitive.
The only other thing, do you have any...
Looks at Jake.
Do you have any travelling hooded cloaks, anything like that that could protect us from the rain?
We can provide you with travelling cloaks. We have an abundance.
I'm thinking like literally rain ponchos. Like
we have an abundance of resource to do such a thing.
Be appreciated. Is there anything you need from us while we're here? Anything we can do to help?
Calm.
Harm.
Calm.
Oh, calm.
I don't like harm, but the opposite.
Rhymes.
We won't cause any problems.
Chase. 413X.
One word, movie.
All 413X is going to do is be, I guess, mildly intrigued by the fact that there are people giving birth in this area, since it's never seen anything like that, and also have a look at the tiny children that are in the cots as well, and then it's going to go power down for 4 hours.
Okay. Cheers.
Dream of electric sheep.
Yeah.
I'll let Alex 413X go for his short rest first, and then I'll take my short rest after.
You'll go what, sorry?
I'll let Alex 413X have his 4-hour rest.
Ah, right, you're gonna...
right,
He wants to remain on guard.
I remember. I'm with you now. Okay.
And then after 413X's 4 hours, then I'll have my 4 hours.
So, the room that you were eating in with those cot beds is the room you lay your heads in or recharge. The evening passes, and we will find out what happens in the morning next week. And that's...
Hey!
Jesus.
20 minutes that Rob was late, we could use.
Yeah, that's like 17 minutes.
No, it doesn't add on to the end. It shortens the...
Quick, everyone jump in a plane and start flying around and doing combat. He really likes extending the sessions for that.
We can loot Jake.
While he's staring into the middle distance.
What's he got?
So,
hold on, I already had a look. I'll let you know.
Right. Thank you very much to all the chat, to Angie Pops and everyone who jumped on. Thank you so much for jumping on and pushing us to 300. It's amazing. Also my favourite movie, so I am very happy that we got to 300. Thank you very much for sticking around in the chat from the beginning to the end. Thank you for joining us after. I hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't as action-packed as a couple of sessions ago, but it was a very different situation I expected the players to be in on session 11. If you really want to go back and watch our other 10 sessions, please feel free.
You really should, like 2 sessions ago.
Go to YouTube. There's a button below the stream. You can find it. If you want to watch it, have a look. It's great. It's been a great laugh these last 11 sessions. So much fun. Roleplay, cool. We love that. We do like roleplay.
We have been known to like the old D20.
So if you do go to YouTube,
that's this thing, right?
I just need 11 subscribers to get it to 100. Once it's at 100, I can get rid of the crappy little numbers and
I don't think I'm
letters.
subscribed. Let me go look at.
Oh, Jesus.
Have a look.
Oh, Rob, he's just gonna kill you even more.
If we get to 100 subscribers by the end of the next session, then
John will shoot Larry there.
I'll give Larry some return love.
And hit him with a tank. Mate, he dropped a plane on his last bad guy. You want to be careful, Larry. So, right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much. YouTube's great. If you come back and watch us, great. We link to YouTube. Oh, you're joking. Give me a sec.
Scroll down.
I've got it. I'll put the link in now.
You can't put the link in. You're not a real boy.
Star.
Star. But
I tried. God damn it.
there you go, folks. Thank you very much. If you go and subscribe, it's very much
There
appreciated.
you go. You've
Look at all
I've
that
subscribed.
bit at the end.
If you're cool and you're free on other evenings, we have stuff going on 5-6 out of the 7 nights a week.
We have 91
D&D,
subscribers, by the way.
D&D, 91, brilliant. Oh, so close. D&D, Carbon, Pathfinder 2nd Ed. We got a vampire game running on a Wednesday, Vampire the Masquerade, and other stuff. Oh, 92. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay sane. You lot are amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
See you all soon. Yeah. Saturday's why I'm here, but saw you were live and figured I'd have a look. Oh, amazing,
Yeah, better
amazing.
than Pathfinder 2.
Carbon's the best show.
So
but
Alex,
they're
if you
okay.
don't know, is the Goblin.
What? No, you're not supposed to give away my secret identity.
That's tough. But if it gets me followers and subscribers, I'll give you your address. Never mind your secret identity. Right. 95. Jesus Christ.
95, yeah, you 5 off.
Right. If you lot get me
Just
to
gonna
what?
sit here for the 5.
97.
I am.
We need 3 more. Can we
90
have 3 more YouTube subscribers?
97. You're
We
all.
need 2 more. 98. Need 2 more.
You're all absolute lunatics.
Come on, guys.
It's optional, I get it.
99.
99. You're taking the piss.
Come on, somebody subscribe. Anyone. There we go. 100.
Oh my God.
300 followers.
101.
subscribers.
101.
See, and all you had to
Oh.
do was let us do Carbon.
Honestly, can we go back IC just for 2 minutes? I'm only going to need 2 minutes.
Not with your dice rolls, mate.
No,
That's
'cause
20. He's just.
As I said, I've not used one of my best skills.
Yeah. Or the max damage.
You ain't seen Larry
I
fight
still have another email address. Hang on. Jesus Christ. Right, you lot are
James at 345.
Middlebank Terrace. You're exactly what Sawdust has said. You are all beautiful bastards. Thank you very much. We do need to go. You're all amazing. I hope you stick out and watch us again on Thursdays, Saturdays, whatever you want to watch. Thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. I'm going to go now and not cry, all right? Because I lost my tear ducts in the war.
The mistake
If
I
you
made was not using this.
That is true. That is true. If you go to the web store for DragonTurtleGames.com, you can 21 messages deleted. Angie, what did you put? 5 seconds. Stop spamming symbols. Thank you very much, Angie Pops, for the love arts. If you go to DragonTurtles.com and you use the code WAITE WAITE with a capital W, you will get 10% off. And obviously that's good for you and it helps the stream. Angie Pops, thank you so much for the 21 hearts apparently it blocked. Yeah, Sawdust and Swear Words, you can see them in the chat. If you go check them out on Facebook, they do loads and loads of cool woodwork. Just go check them out, dice cups, etc. We did a giveaway, in fact.
Don't worry, guys. We'll get back around
See this?
to stuff and blowing stuff up this week.
This is from Sawdust and Swear Words. I didn't expect to have this many people at the end and to do plugs, but yeah, you can see this one's massive. This is a one of a kind. You ain't getting this because you're not as big as me. Hoorah! Hish! But the other dice cups they do, the mahogany, tulip wood, etc., absolutely stunning.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, please go check everyone out that's helped. You can see Jean Nath is holding up his Rebel Alliance cup. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just saying thank you a lot because I'm blown away. So thank you very much. Right, we're gonna go. We have to go.
Thank you very much.
See you guys.
I'm speechless.
They've been trying for 11 sessions.
We promise we'll blow up at least 2 things next week to make up for it.
One of them being Sean, the other probably being Larry.
I don't know.
Two Sims, walk away.
I'll have him in a boxing match. Let's go.
2 simps, 1 grenade. Different stream. Right, let's go. Say bye-bye, players. Say bye-bye.
Bye, players.
See you later.
Bye, internet.
Take care, guys. See you.
You are all amazing. See you all later. Goodbye. Love you all.